Welcome back to the garage. I am picking up right where I left off in the last video. So it's Monday night. Man, I don't even know the date. October 7th? I don't know. Monday, October, early October, second week of October. I don't freaking know. So anyway, picking up right where I left off. Working on the Ranger here. And it's just about 8 o'clock. And so I finished making the last video at 6 o'clock, and transmission is out of this thing. There's my T56 just hanging out on the floor. The bell housing's still in there, but 2 hours of work, not too bad. It's out, exhaust, drive shaft, it's all down. Drain the fluid out of it. Tomorrow will be starter, bell housing, clutch, flywheel, get all that off of there, and start taking the engine out of it. Well, here we are. Now this is already after I've uprighted the engine, and I swear this whole swap's been cursed. But hey, the engine's out of there. So now I got a broken valve cover, broken oil filter adapter, oil pressure line adapter. I don't care about that. Even the valve cover, they're easily replaceable. I'll assess the damage after it broke a bolt I was lifting with and rolled my rad cradle downwards and ended up cartwheeling upside down onto the floor and out into the driveway. So here's the mess I've got to clean up, and new name is Cursed Coyote, I think. Well, here's the aftermath of getting this thing back up on the stand. It's not terrible. Looks like the, I think that's the VVT solenoid sensor, just the plug, broken off. Broken valve cover, I think the coils are all fine. A little damage on my Wuhan war whistles. Yeah, this thing was sitting right upside down, and tried to get it over as quick as I could to contain the oily mess. So I'll be pulling the oil pan. We're going to drain the oil, pull the oil pan off, inspect my headers for cracks, see if they've got any damage from landing on top of the turbos. Oh yeah, broke an adapter here and broke my brand new pressure switch, and there's the adapter. So I mean, oh, come on, get that out of there. Broke that adapter. So really not too bad, but the damage, the motor's already damaged, so whatever at this point. So I've got the engine on the stand now, and just starting to check this over. There's obviously metal in the pan. I think I've got a little extra thrust play. I haven't measured it yet, but just wiggling it back and forth, it looks a little excessive. But also this, number, I'm going to say that's number 6. So there's some knocking noise right there. That's the only one I found so far that's wiggling like that. I'll know more when I get a little further, but this is where I'm starting. Obviously that's making noise. We know that much. We can look at rod number 6 here as I rock this crank back and forth. You can see the play between each of these connecting rods. They should be moving with each other, not separate from each other. I'm going to try and measure some crankshaft end play here. So we got the dial on there, so the base is magnet base stuck to the crankshaft. There's my stud for the oil pan pickup tube. So let's do some measuring on the on crank end play. Well, it looks like 7/1000ths of an inch. I'm going to try and rock that back and see where it ends up. If we're at 7/1000ths of an inch, I'm pretty sure that's within spec. Okay, so we went back a little further after I bumped it. So we're, I guess, 8.5 thou. Let's try that again. Let's zero that. And bump it the other way again. It's hard to get a good bump on there. But yeah, now we're moved only 3 thou, so I know that ain't right. Okay, let's try this again. We'll go zero again. A little off zero. So there's zero there. Let's try this again. Well, that ain't right. I'm just wondering what I'm running into now if something's not happy like that. We'll go the other way. Zero. Well, let's try bumper back. Okay, I'm getting inconsistent readings here. I'm going to try this another way maybe, but it looks like I'm 6 thou here, so 6 to 8 thou. I think we're good there. I'm going to keep playing with this. So with 2 hands working on things, I was able to get it to a little more repeatable 8 to 8.5 thou, which doing some research looks like 7.5 to 15 thousandths is acceptable. I guess I'm in a pretty good ballpark there, and can't say I have excessive crank end play. A machine shop might be able to tell me better, but yeah, number 6 is sloppy, so we got some work to do. So I got the cap off. At this point, this is really rough. It's looking like the bearing was spinning inside the cap, inside the rod and cap. So looking at this as well, we're really rough here. That tells me the same thing. So right now I'm for sure into it. A new connecting rod, or a used connecting rod or something. I don't know. I know some people with a couple extra parts, so we're gonna keep going. Gonna get this bearing off of here. It still turns on the crank. I don't know if you can see it or not. Hard to get in there. So there's the split of the bearing, and that still turns on the crank. Oh yeah, we got lots of slop there too. So you're seeing this part for the first time, just like I am. I don't know, I might be upside down here, but we'll figure that out. But anyhow, we got that damage there. I'm gonna see how bad that crank is in a minute. Well, I had to take number 5 bearing cap off, connecting rod, just to get the beat up rod bearings off of the crank here. And hard to see again with some. Number 5 doesn't look too bad. There's a mark there. Fingernail just catches on it, but I don't know. We might be into, if polishing will take that out, then great, but I kind of have my doubts. I don't know if it's just stuff from the bearing hanging on the crankshaft there or not, but this looks pretty good. But number 5 bearing did pick up some of that shit that had gone through there. So again, at very least, I'm into it. Probably a connecting rod and a crank polish, maybe a turn. I don't know. We'll burn that bridge when we get there, but at least I know what I'm looking at here. So the rest of this thing still looks clean, except for the sparkly oil and shit in this pan. You can see down here, there's a good picture of it, all that copper and bronze garbage. So yeah, we'll figure that out. I'm not wasting any time, we're digging in. So I've got, most of the external parts off. I still got to take a header off. Today is Thanksgiving Monday, Canadian Thanksgiving Monday, so we're, middle of October. Water pumps off, oil pumps off, timing everything, timing except the uppers are off. I got this header off. I'm going to pull these cam caps and see if there's any damage on the cams. And that'll let me know exactly how far I'm going to go with this build. But at this point, if I don't need any real machine work on the block, I'm going to put a new set of rods and piston and rods in it. Probably a set of Molly rods and Manley pistons and a new set of bearings, obviously. And I'll get if the crank needs to be polished, I'll get that done. If it needs to be turned, I don't know what's better. I'm going to be talking to some machine shops and going from there. But yeah, wasting no more time, we're tearing down. And just like that, after a couple of hours, we're down to a short block. Short block with a rod knock. So it's kind of hilarious how small these things are when you don't have a 12-inch wide cylinder head on it. 2 of them, 4 cams in it. But yeah, here we are. I don't know if there's a method to repair these cylinders, whether they machine the caps and go through the cylinder head with a line hone or anything to put them back in spec. But there's, let's see if we can see it on there. Here, there's a little bit of tracking with some of them. Nail catches on them. Cams are about the same way. There's some scoring on them. And in the phasers, it picked up a whole bunch of junk in the VVT solenoids. So I know it shot a bunch of shrapnel through here. Driver side head isn't as bad. I'm going to have to talk to a machine shop about it and see what they tell me. Otherwise, I'm into it. Another set of heads and cams, the whole thing, and basically a complete engine. So this thing looks like really good in the top end. Let's get a little light on here, see if that helps any. Like, there's no ridge. Everything looks really good in the top end. And this will be good for a rebuild for sure. If I've got to buy another engine, I've kind of got my eye on one with It's got from a wrecked car. It's got a broken block, but it's a Mustang engine. So if the heads are good on that, then I've got Mustang cams and Mustang heads. The heads are the same either way. It's just basically the camshaft and a couple of little parts that are different. Have to figure out what I'd have to do in the tune. Would definitely be changing the firing order, so I'd probably have to go into the wire harness and repin a bunch of stuff for the direct injection, probably the ignition coils, the port injection. I'd probably have to repin a bunch of wires. Back to that. I don't know. We'll figure out what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll talk to some other people, see if I can just find another set of Gen 3 F-150 heads. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. Well, I've got the engine stripped down to the bare block now. I'm going to say the block is fine. Much else I can't say right now. I think the crank is bent. So from that mishap I had with it falling off of the engine hoist, I think I bent the crank. It landed on the harmonic balancer. When I got the rods and pistons out of the engine, turning the crank over would turn easy, hard, easy, hard, easy, hard. You know, kind of a good indication that that crank has got a little wobble in it now. I'm not heartbroken about it. It's just another thing I got to spend a couple more bucks on. We're going to go outside. We're getting dark now. It's, I don't know, 7:30, maybe not even, just about 7 o'clock. Loaded everything into the back of the truck. We'll get some light. There we go. So yeah, got cylinder heads, camshafts, crankshaft loaded into the back of the truck. We'll get a picture of that beat up journal. Where are you? Right down there. So yeah, it's scored up. The rest of the crank doesn't look bad. On the video that looks bad, but it is not bad. Everything else looks real smooth. The bearings took some beating on the engine in the shop there. But like I said, if that crank, if they're not able to straighten cranks, or if it's just not feasible to straighten a crank, I'll buy another one off a buddy of mine. So these heads also picked up some shit. We're going to the machine shop tomorrow to get their recommendation and see if the heads and the cams are still reusable or if they're just beat up too bad. And we'll get new heads and cams if that's the case. So, you know, I don't know if I'm going to build a rod and crank, or a rod and piston engine with forged parts, or buy a whole nother engine and put my oil pump gears in it. And I looked through them too. The oil pump looks good. Tiny little bit of scoring, but I mean that's actually from when I put the billet gears into a used pump. It already had a little bit of marking on it, and right now it's not any worse. The gears still look fantastic. So good job, Boundary Gears, for that. But yeah, I'll keep you posted here. I think that's going to do it for this video, and figure it out your own way.